Okay, welcome. Today is November 12th, 2020, and this is our CSI Secret Store community call. So if you have not gone to the agenda or the doc, if you have any agenda items that you wish to discuss, please go ahead and I'll fill that out, as well as if you want to go ahead and just mark your name as absent, not absent, but present. All right. And with that said, let's go ahead and jump into it. So we got a couple of items here. And I'm assuming these are yours you want to discuss, Anish. So we'll start off the driver v.0.17 has been released. You want to
Uh,
from there?
yeah, so we released v.0.0.17 this week. Basically, it contains a few bug fixes for rotation, but most importantly, it also contains a fix for the CVE. So I've also added the issue link for the CVE that Tommy found out and added a fix for. Tommy, do you want to talk about it? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So it was just, so I think part of this bug was my confusion on some of the permissions where the status field of the secret provider class pod status / status. The driver was interpreting that as like authoritative for using the paths on the host file system to write files and to read files from. So we added a bunch of validation to fix that, or at least try to mitigate that. And then I think going forward, there's probably some work still on like the types of permissions that we recommend giving out to users of the driver, which should be don't let them modify the status part of the resource. I think that's about it for that bug.
I just realized, Anish, I saw your announcement for 0.017. It might also be good to just do a PSA for this particular CVE so that it's a bit more obvious that please go upgrade if you haven't.
Sure.
Yeah. I guess because we don't have a mailing list, I guess. That's usually how these things are disclosed.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just so I'm clear, our main form of communication is like this meeting and in the Slack channel, right?
Yeah, so we'll post it on the Slack channel.
All right. So to do is just to do a PSA on the latest driver. Great.
Yeah.
Next, I'm sorry, go ahead. Anything?
Yes, I was just agreeing.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll just get notes here. All right. Next up, we have the doc for the Secret Store CSI driver membership. Go ahead and bring that up.
Yeah, so there have been a lot of folks helping out in the community, actively reviewing PRs and also contributing in terms of fixes and features. So I wanted to draft a doc on what is the criteria that we want to have for promoting members to reviewers and then gradually to approvers. So it talks about what are some of the criteria that we could potentially look for and then how we could promote users. So
Great. Yeah. So if you have any feedback on the doc, if there's anything that you want to be considered as part of the criteria, please go ahead and make your notes and or edits. Anish, when would we like to have this doc kind of be signed off on as far as what we believe it'll to validate the person as a maintainer / owner?
I mean, I think probably sometime in this week or the next week, if everyone can go through it and add comments to it, if they're okay with it, then I think we're good. And then the next step would be to also have this published in our the Secrets to CSI driver repo, so that new contributors know what is the criteria that we use for promoting to the reviewers and approvers. And then we can just, basically we want this published in GitHub so that users can actually see it when they come to contribute. And then
Perfect. Okay. So how about we just maybe just by next meeting, so again 2 weeks, we can just sign off on this, and then we'll also broadcast this on the Slack channel as well, so we can do another PSA on this too.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks. All right. Let's see now. I think this is the last on the agenda. So the stable milestone created in driver based on last week's community call.
Yeah, so last week we went over the GA stable criteria doc. We reviewed each and every individual topics that we had listed in there. And based on that, this is the initial stable milestone that I've created. So I wanted to post it here so that folks can review it, also add new issues that we think we missed out. And I think the next step, similar to what we discussed on the last call, was if we can start picking up issues and then assigning it and then going over it and trying to finish it up, then it'll be really great. And Rita also added a comment to review the production readiness questionnaire. So I think that'll be a good thing to do. So I think that's to do that we want to do. So we basically want to review the questionnaire and also add that the GA stable doc, and also add a reference to the GA stable doc in the Secrets to CSI driver repo. So we have a couple of docs lying around as Google Docs. We probably want to consolidate them and also keep it in the driver repo so users can actually see it and review it, apart from viewing the project board and GitHub issues.
Yeah, makes sense. Any comments to that? Anyone have any thoughts? Okay. Perfect. Okay. So I think that finishes us for the items that were on the agenda. Is there anything anyone else wish to discuss and or comment on?
And there's just another provider specific fix that we have all been coordinating and working on. There's actually an outstanding PR for HashiCorp Vault to update to the latest version to add the E2E test. So I think that's pending. So we probably need to review that later. But I just wanted to check in with Tom about the gRPC changes for the Vault plugin. I know we discussed about it last week, so just checking in to see if you need any help. And
thanks. Yeah, I'm afraid I don't have a solid timeline, but yeah, that is right at the top of the CSI to-do list for us. The test PR I think is pretty much ready to go. I was just taking a moment to go and update all of the examples to the post 0.0.5 interface change for the CIDs that we've got in that provider.
So there's also a mention about a breaking change for the 0.0.6, right? So I was just wondering if that's already documented on the provider repo and what user actions need to be taken for it.
Yeah, there's a note in the README. I think there's a note in the release as well. It's actually, we've been testing an old version of the provider on the driver repo for a while because the tests haven't been updated for 0.0.5, which is where the breaking change was introduced. Yeah, generally I think that's working out a good way to make sure that we're testing the latest version of the providers in the driver E2E tests without having to raise a PR every time would be worthwhile. It's probably the existing PR for replacing the BATS tests with Ginkgo is probably way too big to consider that along with it as well. But yeah, it would be nice to solve that problem, because yeah, we've just been testing a static tag in the E2E tests for quite a while now.
Yeah, I think the other one's also having E2E tests on the provider repos. Like, I mean, today, the way we're doing it is for breaking changes on the provider, we usually have integration tests in the provider that let us know that this change is actually not going to work with this particular driver version, or do we need a latest version? And then we basically just communicate that as a GitHub issue. And then because there's a version compatibility matrix, so we are also trying to document that, but also having tests on both the driver and the provider will help identify such issues before the users do so.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. We can get some E2E tests going on the provider in that case.
Sorry, just to recap on the 0.06 breaking changes. I don't actually remember if that's being propagated to the driver E2E.
So there's a PR for it.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't actually 0.06 that made the breaking change. 0.06 mostly just had the security patch in it. 0.05 was the breaking change, just for the notes.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone wants to bring up? All right.
I have a PR for the docs. It's an initial move to the docs framework. So if you click on that, you can actually scroll down. We have already set up the Netlify account, so there's a preview available. I'm just trying to add more details to it. But if you scroll all the way down.
Yeah. Click it.
Oh, you're not logged in?
Oh, no, I'm not. Sorry about that.
Let me share the link on. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I just shared a link on Zoom call if you want to try opening that.
Or if you want to share it, yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I didn't log in on my Chrome.
No, that's fine. I just shared a link on Zoom, so you can just click on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is basically the preview. So every time we make changes to docs, it'll show up in the PR. And right now, it's a very basic framework. It's just porting all the docs that we have as readmes into the doc side. But the idea is to have a good amount of documentation for each individual topic, and then also maybe examples for each individual feature so that users know how to configure them, and also possibly expand our troubleshooting doc here to go over different possible ways to troubleshoot, and then make it easier for users to just land on this web page, look at contents, configure, and then also be able to troubleshoot on their own. And then GitHub issues is kind of the last resort. So I think basically to expand documentations on the doc side.
Yep, and this is using this is the Doxy theme for Hugo, right, Anish?
No, this is a different one actually.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, you're right. This looks okay.
Yeah, this is very similar to how all the other SIGs. So it's using the same themes.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Yeah, I think we probably just want to add the docs on how to update this.
Right.
Pretty simple. Okay. Great. All right. I think we are at the end of the road on the agenda items. One thing I want to discuss is in 2 weeks, what would normally be our scheduled time on the 26th. That's actually a holiday for those working at Microsoft. So do we want to take a break for 4 weeks, or do we want to resume the week after the holiday week?
I think the week after would be, I mean, I would +1 for that, but
Okay, so that would be December 3rd. If I'm just looking here at the calendar, we would resume. Is that
Yeah, I think
okay?
that
Very well.
enough might happen between now and then to where we would want it instead of waiting 4 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to
+1.
get consensus there. Perfect. All right. So our next scheduled meeting will be Thursday, December 3rd. And thank you, Rita, for doing the inline note taking. So we're good there. All right. If that is it, no other comments or anything to discuss, we'll go ahead and end the meeting.
All right.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
We will see you
Thank
guys.
you.
See everyone December 3rd. Thank you.
Bye.
bye.